Reaching $100,000 in savings or investments is a major milestone, and it's when compound interest or investment growth can start to feel like it's exploding. This is because the larger your balance, the more interest or returns you earn, which then compounds on itself, creating a snowball effect. For example, at a 7% annual return, $100,000 can grow to over $200,000 in 10 years without adding a dime. But with this exciting growth comes the need to manage your money wisely to protect and maximize it. Here's what to do when compounding takes off after $100,000. First, let's talk about why your money seems to be growing so fast after hitting $100,000. Compound interest is like a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but as it picks up more snow, it gets bigger and moves faster. When you invest money, you earn interest not just on the amount you put in, but also on the interest you've already earned. For example, if you invest $100,000 at a 7% annual return, you might earn $7,000 in the first year. Now, your total is $107,000. The next year, you're earning 7% on $107,000, which is $7,490. The year after that, it's 7% on $114,490. Over time, those extra dollars of interest add up, and the growth accelerates. That's the power of compounding, and it really kicks into high gear once you've built a solid base like $100,000. So why does it feel like an explosion? It's because the bigger your investment gets, the more interest you earn and the faster it grows. At $10,000, a 7% return gives you $700 a year. Not bad, but not life-changing. At $100,000, that same 7% gives you $7,000 a year, which feels like real money. By the time you hit $200,000, you're earning $14,000 a year in interest alone. This exponential growth can feel thrilling, but also a bit scary because it's hard to predict how big it'll get or what to do with it. The good news is you don't need to be a financial genius to manage it. You just need a plan to keep your money safe, growing, and working for your goals. The first step when your wealth starts exploding is to stay calm and avoid making rash decisions. It's tempting to think, wow, I'm rich now. Let's buy a fancy car or take a huge risk on some hot stock. But big, impulsive moves can derail your progress. Instead, take a deep breath and remind yourself that compounding works best over time. The same patience that got you to $100,000 will carry you even further. Before you do anything, sit down and think about your goals. Do you want to retire early, buy a house, travel the world, leave money for your kids? Knowing what you're aiming for will help you decide how to manage your growing wealth. Next, make sure your investments are diversified. Diversification is a fancy word for not putting all your eggs in one basket. If all your $100,000 is in one stock or one type of investment, you're taking a big risk. If that stock tanks, your wealth could take a hit. To protect yourself, spread your money across different types of investments: stocks, bonds, real estate, or even cash. For example, you might put 60% in a mix of stocks for growth, 30% in bonds for safety, and 10% in cash for emergencies. A simple way to do this is through low-cost index funds or exchange-traded funds, ETFs, which let you invest in hundreds of companies at once. Diversifying reduces the chance of losing everything and keeps your compounding engine humming along. Another key step is to reassess your risk tolerance. When you were starting out, you might have been comfortable taking bigger risks because you had less to lose. But now that you've got $100,000 or more, a big loss could hurt a lot more. Ask yourself, how would I feel if my investments dropped by 20% tomorrow? If that thought makes you panic, it might be time to shift towards safer investments. For example, bonds or dividend-paying stocks tend to be less volatile than tech stocks. That said, don't abandon growth entirely. Compounding needs some fuel to keep going. A balanced approach, like a mix of growth and safety, lets you keep growing while sleeping soundly at night. Taxes are another thing to watch out for as your wealth grows. Investment gains, dividends, and interest can trigger taxes, which eat into your returns. To minimize this, consider tax-advantaged accounts like an IRA or 401k if you're in the US. These accounts let your money grow tax-free or tax-deferred, which supercharges your compounding. For example, in a Roth IRA, you pay taxes on the money you put in, but all the growth comes out tax-free in retirement. If you're already maxing out these accounts, talk to a tax advisor about other strategies, like holding investments for over a year to qualify for lower long-term capital gains taxes. A little tax planning can keep more of your money working for you. As your wealth explodes, you'll also want to protect it from unexpected setbacks. Life has a way of throwing curveballs. Medical emergencies, job loss, or lawsuits can wipe out your savings if you're not prepared. Start by building an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in a safe, accessible place like a savings account. Next, make sure you have the right insurance: health, home, auto, and maybe even an umbrella policy for extra protection. If you have a family, consider life insurance to secure their future. These safety nets ensure that your compounding wealth doesn't get derailed by a single bad event. Now, let's talk about lifestyle creep. As your investments grow, it's easy to start spending more because you feel richer. A bigger house, a nicer car, or fancy vacations can seem justified when you see your account balance climbing. But every dollar you spend is a dollar that's not compounding. If you take $10,000 out for a luxury trip, you're not just losing $10,000. That doesn't mean you can't enjoy your money, but be intentional. Set a budget for fun spending and stick to it. A good rule is to live below your means, even as your wealth grows. This keeps more money in your investments, fueling that compounding explosion. Another smart move is to keep learning. The world of investing changes fast, and staying informed helps you make better decisions. Read books like The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins or Your Money or Your Life by Vicki Robin. Follow trusted financial blogs or listen to podcasts like The Money Guy Show. You don't need to become an expert, but understanding basics like asset allocation, fees, and market cycles will give you confidence. If you're feeling overwhelmed, consider hiring a fee-only financial advisor. Look for someone who's a fiduciary, meaning they're legally required to act in your best interest. A good advisor can help you create a plan tailored to your goals. As your wealth grows beyond $100,000, you might start thinking about giving back. Compounding doesn't just build wealth for you, it can also help others. Consider setting up a donor-advised fund or donating to causes you care about. Giving can also have tax benefits, like reducing your taxable income. Plus, it feels good to know your money is making a difference. If philanthropy is part of your plan, talk to a financial advisor about the best way to structure it. Finally, don't forget to enjoy the journey. Hitting $100,000 and watching it grow is a huge accomplishment. Celebrate your milestones, whether it's treating yourself to a nice dinner or taking a moment to reflect on your progress. Compounding is a long game, and it's easy to get caught up in the numbers. But money is a tool, not the goal. Use it to build a life you love, whether that's more time with family, pursuing a passion, or just feeling secure. By staying disciplined, diversifying, and keeping your goals in sight, you can harness the power of compounding and make your wealth work for you for decades to come. When compounding explodes after $100,000, the key is to stay calm and focused. This is the stage where your money starts working harder than you do, but only if you stay disciplined. Diversify your investments so you're not overly exposed to any one risk. Manage downside carefully and think long-term. It's also smart to minimize taxes by using the right accounts and strategies that let your wealth grow efficiently. Most importantly, align your growing wealth with your long-term life goals. Whether it's freedom, family, impact, or peace of mind, let your money serve your life, not the other way around. With a little planning and steady action, that compounding snowball will keep rolling, growing bigger and stronger, quietly building a life on your terms.